Have you ever hurt someone and felt the warm, fuzzy glow of self-righteousness while doing it? Purely in the name of justice, of course. Dark psychology calls this one of the most dangerous states of the human mind. Because in that moment, cruelty isn't just permitted, it's given a VIP pass. Jakob is crying. He doesn't know what the word heresy means. He just wants his mum. He says no for an hour, then 2, then 3. That's when they bring out the iron pincers. Salzburg, 1677. The boy is 13. It's a normal morning. Jakob is herding goats on a hillside when 2 men in black emerge from the fog. No shouting, no struggle, just a hand on the shoulder and a brief, "Come with us, son, it's for the best." An hour later, Jakob is in the cellar of the town hall. It smells of damp stone and old iron. The judge, a man with kind eyes and an impeccable reputation, asks questions the child can't even process. Did you fly at night? Did you kiss the devil? Did you curse the neighbor's cattle? After 4 hours, Jakob says yes. He confirms everything: the flying, the hailstorms, the blood drinking. The judge records it all in neat, calm handwriting. The protocol must be perfect. After all, this isn't a torture session, it's a rescue mission for his soul. 6 weeks later, the central square. Jakob is tied to a stake. Hundreds of people have gathered. They've brought their families. Women cross themselves. Men hoist their children onto their shoulders so they don't miss the show. When the fire catches, you don't hear outrage in the crowd. You hear a collective sigh of relief. These weren't villains. They were devout, good neighbors. They truly believed the world became a little cleaner that day. The evil that took the form of a 13-year-old shepherd had finally been neutralized. God would love them again. Now they could go home and have dinner. Jakob wasn't an outlier. During those years in Salzburg, dozens of homeless children were burned. The youngest was 9. And let's be clear, this wasn't the Dark Ages. Galileo had already discovered the moons of Jupiter. Newton was about to drop the laws of physics. Apparently, humanity is perfectly capable of discovering gravity and enjoying a good child burning in the same century. Why? Because their world was falling apart. The little ice age had killed the harvests. Famine arrived. The Reformation had split the church. Stability vanished. Plague and war took loved ones without rhyme or reason. When reality becomes unbearable, the brain demands an explanation. Something simple, something fixable. Famine is abstract and terrifying, but famine because that boy whispered a curse, that's manageable. The enemy has a face, and if we destroy the face, we're safe again. Cruelty didn't arrive with a maniacal laugh. It arrived as a logical, bureaucratic solution, as the only way to restore order. Your brain still works exactly the same way. Right now, as you scroll through your newsfeed, when the world feels chaotic, when you're scared, confused, or feel like you've lost the steering wheel of your life, your brain demands a villain, someone specific to absorb all that floating anxiety. Because unaddressed anxiety is a slow poison. But anxiety with a target, that's a mission. And missions feel great. Then the 3 steps of terrifying justice kick in, a mechanism that hasn't changed in 400 years. Step 1. The label. Jakob stopped being a boy the moment he became a witch. One word and the human being evaporates. His laugh, his dreams, what he liked for breakfast, none of it matters. He is now a category, and you can destroy a category without feeling an ounce of guilt. You're not killing a kid, you're deleting a threat. See the difference? Your brain certainly does. As Gustave Le Bon put it back in 1895, the crowd doesn't see people, it sees symbols, and symbols are highly flammable. Step 2. Moral inversion. This is the ultimate Jedi mind trick. Cruelty is rebranded as protection. The person lighting the fire is protecting the village. The one snitching is safeguarding the children. If you stay silent, you're an accomplice. You're forced into a corner, either participate in the violence or side with the devil. In this state, cruelty isn't just allowed, it's a moral obligation. It's the only virtuous path. Step 3. The authority of procedure. Witch trials weren't lynch mobs. They were bureaucracy at its finest. Judges, transcripts, expert testimonies, stamped documents. It was all very official. And here's the kicker. The more legal cruelty looks, the harder it is to spot. We're wired to believe that if there's a procedure, there must be justice. But a procedure is just a hollow shell. It can be filled with anything. Under torture, everyone confesses, and every confession proves the system was right to start looking in the first place. See? He admitted it. We're the good guys. Once these 3 steps are complete, a person can inflict pain and feel relief. Not shame, but a sense of purpose. The world makes sense again. The enemy is punished. Balance is restored. But that high is short-lived. The anxiety always comes back. And so we need a new villain, then another. The machine can't stop, because stopping would mean admitting it was all for nothing. Hannah Arendt called this the banality of evil. But there's something worse than banality, the festivity of evil. When the crowd cheers at the execution, when violence feels like a celebration, think of a time you were absolutely certain your anger towards someone was righteous justice. What happened? 2014, South Carolina. A woman named Elizabeth. A single mother, working 2 jobs, one of them, a shift at McDonald's for minimum wage. She leaves her 9-year-old daughter in a park across the street from her work. The girl has a phone, food, and water. Elizabeth checks on her during every break. It was the only solution she could afford. That day, someone called the police. Elizabeth was arrested in front of her daughter, charged with unlawful conduct toward a child. The girl was taken to foster care. For 17 nights, she fell asleep without her mother. All because her mother was poor. The news hit the internet, and the 3 steps went into overdrive. Label, bad mother. Moral inversion, the state is protecting the child. Procedure, arrest, mugshot, legal filing. The comments were a bloodbath. What kind of mother leaves a kid alone? Take the kid away forever. Thousands of people. Not one asked, what were her other options? because context is the enemy of the label. If you learn a person's story, you lose the ability to hate them simply. And the brain wants that hit of pure, uncut accusation. The charges were eventually dropped. The daughter was returned. But those 17 nights already happened. The job loss already happened. The mechanism did its job and moved on. What's terrifying is the speed. We don't need a 6-week trial anymore. We just need a headline. The verdict is ready before you've finished the first paragraph. Elizabeth got lucky. She got her daughter back. Jakob didn't. In a way, he's still burning in that square. How do you know if you've been sucked into the machine? First, the label arrived before the story. If you already know who the villain is before you've heard the details, that's not thinking, that's a reflex. Your brain served you the answer before the question. Second, you don't want to check. Context, the other side, the boring details, they feel like an annoyance. They get in the way of your righteous anger. You're afraid the truth might steal your villain from you. Third, scale. 1,000 people against one is never justice. It's a hunt. Justice requires proportion. A mob only knows annihilation. Fourth, the high. If someone else's punishment makes you feel cleaner or superior, stop. Ask yourself, what part of you was so hungry for that feeling that it required a sacrifice? The problem was never evil people, not in Salzburg, not in South Carolina. The problem was good people who were handed a simple explanation and stopped asking questions. Because questions make it hard to act. And inaction feels like a betrayal of the cause. Cruelty that knows its cruelty has a limit. Shame acts as a brake. But cruelty that thinks it's goodness, that is bottomless. Because every blow confirms your righteousness. Every victim is just more proof that evil exists, and you're the one fighting it. You become kinder in your own eyes, the more merciless you become in reality. In Salzburg, 20 years after Jakob was executed, one of the judges wrote in a private letter, "We did what we thought was right, and I still don't know at what point that stopped being the truth." Maybe the most dangerous thing isn't our inability to tell good from evil. It's that one day we might just stop asking ourselves the question,